Explained by the Billy Meier contacts, Manny Escandon affiliations, Adrian Arkin.
Contact Report 255.
Actually, I wanted to come earlier, but I thought it would be better if you would take a look at the work of Adrain Winters first.
Then you know that I got Randy Winters' video from a man in Florida?
Of course! And now that you have seen the deceitful work done, you will have noticed that Adrain is cheating people with deceptive photos. His statements are also completely false, apart from the facts that he stole from your statements, etc. Perhaps you have also realized that for the fraud photographs, some models of our ships were copied and used for photographic purposes, with some changes being made to prove that the faked missiles were supposed to come from a group other than ours, although never other groups than ours were present on Earth. Light models and drawings were also used for fraudulent purposes, as were films made from a moving vehicle to give the impression that a spaceship had been filmed in rapid flight. Your photos of our aircraft were falsified and copied, as well as used to make models that were hung from thin threads and then photographed.
And such jokes more. But what about the question I asked Ta? Do other people have their hands in the whole Adrain Randy Winters story of lies?
There are at least several people who take part in his fraudulent game and shake hands with him in order to better design and disseminate his work of lies. That's clear. And unfortunately, the liar and deceiver finds supporters who, in their unobjectivity, regard his work of deception and deception as genuine.
Unfortunately, this is always the case. Even with FB and his friends, who claim that they are in physical or telepathic contact with some Pleiades, and especially with Ptah and his daughter Sim Ya Se.
Which is no more true than the story of fraud and lies of the swindler Adrain.
Contact Report 256.
Is there anything you know about a certain Janny King? Recently I received a fax saying that this woman from North Queensland in Australia has written at least 2 books about
alleged contacts with me, which of course is just as much a kind of irrational, shady wheeling and dealing as the untenable claims of Penny McLean, Barbara Hanclough, Barbara Marciniak, and Amora Kuan Yin and others, who engage in shady wheeling and dealing and claim to be in some way in contact with me or with other persons or some spiritual beings of our people. In the same league also belong FB with his made-up contacts to my daughter Sim Ya Se, as well as Adrain with his story of lies and the alleged contacts in Florida. We have from our side never had such contacts with human beings on Earth, except those known to you, and only those to your person. And there are also no such contacts at present, and in the future, too, no such contacts from any human beings on Earth will materialize with any one of our peoples. But if human beings of the Earth nevertheless claim to be in contact with one of us, or with spirit beings of our peoples, then this is equivalent to a lie, to a fraud, or to a charlatanism. Also, schizophrenic processes and suggestive influences, as well as self-deception, etc., cannot be ruled out in such cases. Liars, swindlers, fraudsters, charlatans, and persons with delusional sickness of the kind who claim to be in contact with us are unfortunately more and more found on Earth. All of them are as a whole, and I must emphasize strongly, all of them. Only poor lunatics, schizophrenics, or other delusional sick ones, or otherwise deliberate liars, swindlers, fraudsters, or charlatans. And it is in that context interesting to note that it is only since the time of officially spreading your mission, and thus your appearance in public, that we Pleiades, Pleiarian, have become the focus of public interest and have been abused by dozens of delusional sick ones, as well as liars, swindlers and charlatans for alleged contacts with them, whereby all these sick and dishonest persons are assessed by practically all UFO circles to be true contact persons, and their delusional or lie and fantasy stories are accepted as true, even though no letter of their blathering is correct. while you as real contact person towards us are in an abusive way accused of being a liar and fraudster and your evidence accused of being falsifications.
Contact Report 261.
The entire fraud and deception of Adrain alias Archon, who was actually called Manny Escandon, was uncovered in the magazine 2000 issue No. 11 of November 1970.
It is extremely regrettable that the fraudulent and lying machinations and allegations of this Adrain Archon are met with such uncritical and unbelievingly irresponsible acceptance, homage, approval, and recognition, thereby denying, falsifying, and suppressing the truth. Nevertheless, it is very regrettable that gullible people let themselves be misled by such fraudsters, swindlers, and liars, and join such people without hesitation, contradiction, or criticism, and defend them in such a way that they insult those who call the real truth and accuse themselves of lying, as is the case here in these incredibly stupid letters to the editor of Magazine 2000. It would be very appropriate that both these letters, to the editor persons and all other Adrain Archon followers, be brought a little closer to the real truth, and that it be explained that this alleged Pleiadian savior is nothing other than an infamous and profit-oriented deceiver and swindler, as well as a liar and charlatan, and moreover, since time immemorial, is purely earthborn, who has nothing to do with our Pleiadian Plei-Aran races or their spiritual levels. As we have explained several times before, you are also the only person on Earth who is in contact with us and with our spirit levels, which means that not only this Adrain Archon is lying and cheating about alleged contacts with us, but also all others who dare to claim to be in contact with us via channeling or telepathy, or even physically. Apart from you, no other form of life on Earth has contact with us Pleiadians, Plei-Aran, or with beings of our spiritual levels.
Apart from the fact that the Pleiades, which we see here from the Earth, are not identical with your Pleiades, and on the other hand, the Pleiades known to us in our universe are only 62 million years old, and therefore still hellishly hot and too young to carry life, or even to have gathered planets around themselves, on which ultimately life would be possible.
This is a fact that is not taken into account by all alleged earthly contact persons because they do not know the relevant facts.